up. Now, if this goes in the middle of the recording, we'll just because I was actually doing a podcast earlier on as well, and it went, and just bear with me and we'll come back and it'll be grand. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So let's have a start off. And well, good afternoon or good morning or whatever time of the day it is, wherever you are. Look who I have here on our podcast. We have Sarah Campbell. Sarah, I'm so delighted to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. I love that I can wake up and enjoy my morning with you, and then you say it's afternoon. But you know what? We're enjoying flowers, so it doesn't matter what time it is.
It doesn't matter what time it is in the world. It's flower time all of the time. But Sarah, yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled. You're somebody that we have followed for a long, long time. And we got the luxury of going over to Intrigue conference last year, and we'll be back again this year. So it's booked out. So if you're watching or listening to this and you want to go to the conference, too late. Put your name on the list for next year. But anyway, Sarah, first of all, tell me, where did flowers come in your life?
Can I have 1 second? Hey, Jay, can you pull the volume down for that on me? Thank you. It's okay. Sorry, now we can go back. I was trying to send a text, but I couldn't focus on both.
That's okay. So, Sarah, tell me, where did flowers come in your life? Where did it all start for you?
Well, first, I've always loved flowers. Even as a little girl, I would pick every flower that I could get my hands on. In fact, I remember getting in so much trouble once from my mom because I picked all of the blossoms off her gourds and pumpkins. Not just a few of them, every single beautiful bright yellow blossom I picked, and I was so excited, but I got in trouble.
I can imagine.
But for weddings, I actually didn't know that I was going into flowers when it happened. So I was a wedding planner. That's how I started my business almost 20 years ago. And I had referred this florist that had this kind of just emotional challenge right before the wedding, and 48 hours before the wedding, she called me and she said she quit wedding. She was not doing this wedding. She was never taking another wedding. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Because I connected the client. I'm the planner, right? That's supposed to give you all the right answers to plan your wedding. And I connected you with a florist that's now bailing 24 hours before the wedding.
Oh my God.
So I did my best to calm her and make her feel comfortable and offer to come and pick the flowers up. I fully assumed I was picking up completed arrangements.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Deirdre, I get there. This is a long story. I'm going to tell it as short as I can, but I get there, I put the box in, load up my SUV, and it's box, and they're all packed, and they fit perfectly into my vehicle. And I came home, and it was winter time, so I took the flower boxes out of the car and I put them in the garage just because I didn't want them to freeze if it got too cold. And I hadn't planned on even looking in the boxes until the next day, which was wedding day. But I got, I love flowers, so I want to see them. And I opened the boxes and I see plastic and cardboard wrapped around. I had never seen wholesale bunches of flowers in my life. And this was years ago. YouTube was new. There was no Instagram, no Facebook. And I don't fail. When I decide, and I've told you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I had to figure out how to make those flowers into arrangements without ever touching flowers before. And
wow.
Thank goodness to YouTube. Thank goodness to a local flower friend who actually, I was a planner. I had used her a number of times, but didn't use her on this event. I called her. She didn't even ask me what I was doing, what I needed. She said she's going to leave out the containers, some supplies for me. She was off to her own wedding. And to this day, we are friends. And I appreciate her so often because she helped me take that first leap. And the client was happy. I don't know how the client was happy. Well, it was roses and hydrangeas, so it wasn't rocket science.
Yeah. And you know what? You are a natural with flowers, so it has always been in you to do the flowers.
Thank you.
And tell me, so within the wedding industry or within the industry, what thrills you the most? What's the best part of the journey?
I love the big, over-the-top, large-scale installations. If it is difficult and it well, it's not always as difficult as it looks, but if it is big and it requires hundreds or thousands of flowers, that excites my soul. If I've got to rent a lift and I've got to rent scaffolding and I need a team of 30, it is challenging, but what you create is absolute art. So
it is.
I guess my short answer is installations, Deirdre.
Installations, absolutely. And that's, I suppose, why you're known as the queen of installations, in fairness. I definitely across America anyway. Over the years, so what has changed? Has installations got bigger? Has budgets got bigger? Or have brides or grooms, have they changed? What have you seen the biggest changes over the years?
Oh, these changes have been incredible. And I'm sure everyone has seen these. So it used to be when couples came in for a wedding, they brought a couple of pictures from a magazine, but they really didn't have a lot of education as to what could be done. But now we have the power of social media and Instagram, Pinterest, even TikTok is really exploding the visual education that these couples have. So now they come in with bigger dreams than they've had before.
And do you find then with this that they have these big dreams but don't have the budget to match?
Okay, so let me answer this question with a little bit of tact.
Okay.
Because no client that has ever come to me knows what their budget is going to be. When I'm working with new designers and I'm working with designers that are really moving into that luxury lane, I consistently hear two things. I hear designers say, well, we just don't get weddings like you do in our market. And then I hear designers say, well, my clients have low budgets. They give me budgets of $2,000 or $5,000. So here's the reality. My clients call me. And if I actually don't ask them their budget, but if I do, we get into budget conversations, they almost always think their wedding flowers are going to cost $2,000 or $5,000. Those are the two most popular numbers. They just don't know. So I don't hold that against them. And then when it comes to living in a market where the clients aren't spending that much, that comes down to your advertising, your marketing, and your creativity, because I live in a little tiny town on the eastern shore of Maryland. It is 161 people, and I don't sell to my neighbors because my neighbors, honestly, they don't know what to do with me. They wouldn't understand how anyone would spend $100,000 on flowers. Sometimes I don't even understand that. So I reach out and I use the skills that I've built over the years to connect with those clients that are looking for those over-the-top designs, even if they don't know how much it's going to cost.
Yeah. And I do believe as well that a couple are going to go to somebody who does those kinds of designs if they have the bigger budgets, like they're not going to go to somebody who they only see minimal flowers at a wedding to do a big budget wedding. They're going to go to somebody who advertises luxury.
But sometimes they do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sometimes they do. So you can be in that place where you're just starting to get into that luxury lane of weddings, and really all you need to do is adjust your communication style and you'll be able to start booking those higher end weddings and start into that attraction of those luxury events. You really can. So I don't want anyone to feel like they are not good enough to do those high-end weddings, because most likely they are. Maybe they're not. Some people
no, in fairness, I think most people are. Yeah, they actually don't realize how skilled they are anyway. And we will talk about that, of how you help people get to that stage in a few minutes. But before that, tell me what's coming for 2025 within the wedding industry. What do you see with the couples? Like, what would be the trends?
Entertainment, immersive entertainment. I am seeing more and more performers at weddings. It's always been there here and there, but I'm seeing it consistently. And what I feel like is really going to jump off in 2025 is the addition of fresh floral in these immersive performances, whether it be floral gowns or floral headpieces or acrobats with floral tattoos. You're going to see fresh flowers incorporated into these experiences.
Wow. Right. Love it.
That's exciting, right?
I want to get married again.
Me too, to my same wonderful man.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. So when you're selling your weddings or you're teaching people to sell weddings, what is your secret weapon?
My secret weapon. So when it comes to me and the way I sell, the presentation style really is the secret. So that is a matter of just adjusting the way you are giving your proposal to a client. So when I'm working with, whether it be part of our insiders program and our luxury program, or it be in our luxury workshops, we always talk about how you're going to deliver a design presentation to your prospective couple. Because if you just talk to them and you give them a proposal that's black and white, or maybe it's got some colors and you email it off to them, that is easy to look at, or it's very easy to take it and compare it to 17 other designers, right? When you do an interactive presentation with visuals on a Zoom call or recorded call, then you have the ability to show the client what the opportunities are for them. I dream for my clients. I take their inspiration and, like a spider web, I will build out different installations, different centerpiece collections, different bouquet styles, because clients, they are not designers and they don't come in knowing exactly what they're going to want. In fact, it's very rare that even my clients will ask me for an installation.
Okay.
I'm the one who comes in and dreams it up and makes suggestions. And just like when you're at a restaurant and the server comes in and tells you the specials and describes these wonderful things, you don't always buy them, right?
Yeah.
Well, isn't it just a wonderful experience to hear about the layers of flavors and how these are created? It's part of that luxury experience.
Yeah, that's great advice. Great advice. So we say for a wedding florist who has recently trained and maybe is working in the industry and is looking to go out on their own, how do they get to that luxury stage? How can they attract those? Like, what is the key to attract those luxury clients in?
Well, attracting luxury clients is a big part of getting into that lane. So, all right, this is actually a much longer topic that could take hours. But I'm gonna kind of compact it as much as I can to give an insight into this. First, I would say to these designers, start behaving like a luxury designer. Even when your clients are coming in and they're only going to be telling you they have budgets of 500, 1,000. Well, I use dollars. I don't even know what you use in Ireland. You use pounds? Euros. Oh, pounds is that English place, right?
Pounds in England.
I use dollars, but with euros, the same thing. 500 euros, 1,000 euros, 2,000 euros. If that's what they're saying their budgets are, still behave as though you are a luxury florist providing a luxury service. So in the luxury world, service is everything. In fact, if you don't know luxury, then I'm going to recommend you as a designer to go out and start experiencing these luxury things. Go to the high-end restaurants, go to the high-end car dealerships, go to the high-end spas, the hotels. Start to look to see what these places do, how they communicate, how they go above and beyond. You know, when you think about a luxury hotel, you know, some of the places, especially in Europe, oh, you have some beautiful luxury resorts and hotels in Europe, and you might be looking at £2,000 a night, right? Pounds, not pounds. Euros.
Yeah, euros, yeah.
You may be looking at 2,000 euros a night. As opposed to, you could find another cute little inn that might be 80 euros in the same town. What is the difference between the 80 euro place that gives you a bed and a bathroom and the 2,000 euro place that gives you a bed and a bathroom? And what else? What is the experience? What is the way they are greeting you and delivering the information? I think experiencing luxury is a big part of designers getting into that luxury lane.
That's actually great advice. 1 second. Okay, Google, stop. That's my alarm. Hang on a second. It's my alarm to tell me to go and collect my daughter from school, but she's not in school. That's how bad it is that I have to set an alarm that I remember to go and collect her.
So Deirdre, can I just tell you, I set an alarm for everything. Even like interviews like this, I'll set an alarm an hour before, 30 minutes before, 2 minutes before to make sure I don't miss, because we have busy brains.
Yeah, that's it. We are busy. But okay, so back to Sarah, that's amazing. That is some of the best practical advice I've heard from anybody, that if you don't experience luxury, how can you give luxury, really? You know, that's really, really, really good advice. I love it. You're really, I suppose, I know you're known as a luxury wedding florist, but in the past couple of years, it's your education and your conferences and your workshops and your style shoots and all of that you've really, I think over this side of the world anyway, become even more known for. Tell us, how did you get into that? Where did that all come from?
You know, I started teaching workshops and classes just because I was getting questions on how I design something, what flower I use. So I decided to start hosting classes, and this was about 10 years ago, I think. My very first workshop, I sold 0 tickets. Actually, 0 people paid to come to my first workshop. But it has definitely grown since then. And what really, I think, has set Intrigue and my business apart in the education side is I don't hold back. When it comes to teaching a class, teaching a workshop, not
everything.
only, yes, I 10 on everything. I put all my time and attention into making sure that is the ultimate experience. I'm giving the best of the education I can get, and I don't do it alone. I connect with other educators like yourself that we can collaborate and we can help share and really just grow our industry. So maybe the answer I really didn't come up with is it's passion. Like I love
and that is, and I have to be honest, that is our thing. We get such a buzz when we see, like, one of our students is opening a flower shop at the weekend, and we are so excited for it. And we've another student who's open one in 3 more weeks, and like we've another florist who has won an award, and it's just that gives us our tingle. That's the buzz for us, is to see them. Or like we'd one of our florists who has done her first wedding at the weekend, and she did phenomenal. She did amazingly, and that just makes our day. That's better than any money or anything like that, is to see what they can produce, or to see that they have, for us, started a new business, left a stressed out job in a corporate world and have moved into the flowery world. It's amazing. So what about us over here? So we say in Ireland and the UK, because we'd have a lot of UK students watching as well, and they're looking at you on Instagram, and they're looking at the Intrigue conference, and they're looking at the style shoots, and they're like, oh, I can't go to that. It's too expensive. I haven't got the time. But they want to be able to have access to you, Sarah. Have you anything that you can give them?
Absolutely. So we do teach. I have a series of 3 different courses that focus in on that high-end world. Those courses are Big Dreams, Floral Installation Masterclass, which is actually the most popular class. And oddly enough, I have a number of beginner students who will jump into that class because these are the people that have big dreams. They know they're starting out right here, but they know they're growing in and they're going to be doing some of these large scale pieces. So it's really been eye-opening to me as I've gotten to know these up and coming designers that they know they're not here yet, but they're jumping in. So we have the Big Dreams course, like I just said. We have our Intrigue method, which is how I sell and how I find these luxury clients, which is my least popular course, but the one that people make the most financial return out of.
Wow.
But I do find that designers in general like to buy flower classes as opposed to business classes. And I will tell everyone right now, your business class is where you make the money. The floral class is the art. But when Deirdre is talking about business and marketing, like that is where you want to be paying the most attention.
Yeah.
And then
that's so true. That's so true. And we see that in our courses as well, where they nearly skip over that element of it. And then it's not till they're running a business and something comes up. And we were like, we taught you that on module 2, or we taught you that on module 3. And they're like, oh, right. It wasn't relative to them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So although the business part may sound boring, if you want to be profitable and build that long-term legacy level business, something you can pass down to your children, your grandchildren, and create jobs in your community, that business is everything. I wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for some really good business strategies and good financial decisions.
And good financial decisions too. And tell me, the Insiders, this is your newest program, your newest service, and I know the doors are closed. So when this goes live, and the doors are closed to it, tell us a little bit about it, and then tell us how we can get on the list for when they open again.
Sure. So the Intrigue Insiders program started when we were actually in the midst of our national tour. So once a year, we do a national tour across the United States, teaching a series of 2-day classes that is business and luxury large-scale design focus. And what we realized is these students got so much in these 2-day in-person classes, but then they needed more continuous education. And then we also learned that there were a lot of people that just couldn't make their way across the country or across a pond to get to these classes. And so we decided to launch an online program. This is a monthly members-only program, and this is only for those looking to build their business and grow their business within the luxury lane of weddings. So it's only for those people that say, okay, I want to book weddings that are 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. Those are the people that are a right fit for this group. And not everyone needs to be in the luxury lane. So if you're listening and you are not interested in luxury over-the-top weddings, that is okay. Some of my favorite flower friends, my best flower friends, they look at what I do and they're like, Sarah, I never want a crew of 30, ever. I never want to get on a scissor lift in my entire life. That is totally okay because there is so much opportunity in the flower world. So, but yeah, so the Intrigue, I get distracted when I talk, Deirdre. The Intrigue Insiders is members only. This will open. We have a wait list right now for the next opening, and we do take members in, I believe we are locking it now, but I believe we're going to go into a quarterly or biannual membership opening.
And anyone that is watching, I will have all Sarah's links in the description and the link to subscribe to get onto those lists and stuff. So follow down below and you will see where you can contact her and get in contact with her. But it actually, I have a bit of FOMO now, to be honest with you, because I know it has been running for a while. You've had like a beta group going, and listening to the feedback has been just phenomenal.
Oh, it's amazing.
Sarah, like we had, both myself and Jeanette had the experience of going over to Baltimore last year and to the Intrigue conference. And needless to say, we were a little bit imposter syndrome. We were a little bit nervous. This was totally different to something we had ever been before. And talk about being welcomed with open arms. Everyone was like a family. By the time we left, we have kept in contact with so many people through social media. And we were like, oh my God, like it's not always within the flower industry. You get so many positive people in one place, and not just positive people, but people that are so supportive of each other and so helpful. And I know I have spoken to a few of them, like we done a podcast with Tyler as well. And he said exactly the same thing, that it's an exceptional group. How do you create this? Like what has brought these positivity together and to stay in that lane?
You know, I've been asked this question so many times, and I do know that it is a unique experience in the entrepreneurship world and the flower world. And my answer always is like attracts like. If you want to be surrounded by a positive environment and a positive group of people, you need to lead and be that light in your industry, that light in your community, and really show the encouragement of others. Cheer for others louder than you cheer for yourself. And those are the people that will be attracted to you. So the people that are negative and that are annoyed by happy people, they're not going to show up to an Intrigue event, because at an Intrigue event, you know you're going to walk into a room that is empowering, that is exciting, and that is surrounded by people that want you to win, which is a unique environment. So yeah, if you're at home and you're watching this, you're like, there's no people around that. Look to yourself.
You're with the wrong people. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And just start behaving as one of those people. And I promise you, those people that enjoy the light and enjoy to encourage and inspire, they will find you.
Yeah. And that is so true. And people say that to us. They say, oh gosh, like I had a florist over in Scotland getting in contact with us. She set up a florist school and she wanted, and I'm like, yeah, I can't teach every florist in the world. Like there's enough business out there for everybody, and we will all learn off each other. And we start saying, well, don't do this because that didn't work for us, or this was really good, you know, like, and everyone has a completely different style. And the same within the flower industry, people will buy from people that they like and their style that they like.
Absolutely.
Trends and techniques and all of that. How do you keep up with that?
Oh, Deirdre, my dear, I don't keep up with any of it. My goal is to be setting the trends and creating new designs and learning them so that I can then share those techniques with our industries. So if I see something that catches my attention design-wise, I am putting that to use, and I'm looking at all of the world as my inspiration. Not necessarily just looking at to see what is happening right now in the wedding industry, because by the time you see what is happening right now in the wedding industry, there is a whole bubble of amazing things that are coming down the line. So I'm looking to be in that bubble to help share and create, and not necessarily to keep up with anything.
I love it. I love it. I love it. The trendsetter. Profit, right? Again, I suppose it comes back to training, it comes back to pricing. But what do you think is the most important thing to make sure you stay in profit with your weddings?
One thing.
What?
Software. Floral software. I don't care what floral software you work with. You know, I have some great partners, some great sponsors, but it is the most important thing to me that everyone that I work with is using software. In fact, even when I take on the mentoring students, which we take on very few, a maximum of 2 per year, even when I take on mentoring students, I will not accept a student unless they have a software commitment and they are using a floral software. You might be able to stay profitable in business without the use of a software, but you probably won't. And those aren't the odds that I want to bet on.
No, definitely not. And talking of mentoring, do you take on students from mentoring or florists from mentoring or coaching? And if so, can they contact you to links, or how does it work?
They absolutely can contact us. So our mentoring programs are very in-depth and intense, and it is one-on-one time with me for a 6-month period. So we have 2 mentoring programs, and in order to get into these programs, you first have to go through a series of interviews with my team. And if it is a good fit, then we'll give you an offer to mentor. The reason that I am so particular about going to the interviews is because I guarantee that within that 6 months, you're going to increase your sales by $50,000. And it's not that I don't love you, but I put so much time and attention into you as my student that I don't want to make that last for more than 6 months. We'll still be friends. In fact, I'm the best of friends, I think, with every mentoring student that's come through because we spent so much time together. But it's a $30,000 commitment to be part of the mentoring program. And that's a reason I also make sure we have the $50,000 guarantee that we will not stop our mentoring until we hit our $50,000. But that's not my goal, Deirdre. My goal is that this mentoring is going to create $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 in reoccurring revenue.
Yes.
That is the goal, to really set these businesses up. So it is not easy to get accepted into our mentoring program. The best way to really learn is going to be through our online classes, or get on a plane and join us here in the United States. Although, Deirdre, there has been chatter about a mini tour of Intrigue across Europe. So
wow,
it's only chatter. You and I will have to chit chat a little.
We'll have a little bit more chatter in November about that. Absolutely, absolutely. So my last question to you, Sarah, and I'm sure there'll probably be loads of questions commented underneath here. But anyway, what is the changes you would like to see in the flower industry?
Oh, I think one of my biggest challenges in the flower industry is access to great large-scale installation structures, arches and crescents and suspendable pieces. I find it very difficult outside of hiring a builder or who's the one that does this little fire with the metal? A welder.
Oh, a welder. Yeah.
Outside of hiring a welder or builder and having something custom made, it is very difficult for me to find large scale structures. So I would really love, in fact, if anyone's listening and they know how to do this, I am happy to partner with you. Like, I feel like large scale structures need to be on the market. You know, some of the wholesalers that carry vases and containers, they have a few pieces, but very few big pieces.
Yeah.
And that's
there
what
is
I
a
look
guy
for.
in the UK. I'm nearly sure Wedding Metal Art is his business. And again, I'll put it into it. I'll tag him and tell him he was commented on, mentioned in this. But he actually, and I'm nearly sure it was Wedding Metal Art, but he has structures that are all interchangeable. So you can have this shape, you can have that shape, you can have square, you can have, and they literally all slot in, and the buckets and vases fit into the structures.
Is he in France?
I think he might be French, but I think he lives in England. I think.
Well, you know what? It's all over there in Europe.
When you come to Europe, we'll show you.
Yes, that's lovely. Okay, I'd like to come to Europe, and I'd like to meet the Metalworks guy.
I'll tag him in this when we post it up. But yeah, no, there's definitely a demand for that there, because I know even on our module 4, we teach them how to make their own structures, because they're, well, the ones we have an issue in Ireland of using in churches more so than hotels, but in churches they won't allow metal stands.
Oh.
So our arches and our moon gates and all that are actually all done on a plastic structure, but on a metal stand base. I'll tell you more about it when we see it. But and again, they're all interchangeable and can be shaped into any shape. But that is the issue in Ireland, is that they are quite strict about they can't get insurance for metal stands in churches.
That's
in the hotels. Well, it seems to be okay.
Your country is a bit older than mine, so
just a little bit. Sarah, do you know what? I could sit and talk to you for hours and hours and hours, and I know we will in November when we do go get over to see you again. But thank you so much, and thanks for all the information. Like, you gave us so much information there and lots of tips. I loved the tip about go experience luxury, and then you'll know how to give luxury. That really hit home for me. Sarah, I've really enjoyed this today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And anyone else that's listening in, check out our podcast for any other tutorials and meet other florists from all over the world. Okay. End